Reports of Bigfoot underwater or of Sasquatch swimming. Stories of a Bigfoot swimming are intriguing. Animals built like a gorilla don't look to be the aquatic type. So, I would have to echo John Green and say it's not reasonable to make up this type of creature and then put it in water. So let's take a look at a few stories of Bigfoot and water. An early report from 1161 tells of an aquatic wild man described as tailless and hairy with a bald head that was found in the sea near Orford on the English coast. It was dumped back into the water again when it seemed incapable of speech. And yes, that is 1161 and off the English coast. Chief Tom Brown at Clemta said he had seen one climb out of the ocean one night. It appeared to climb into the stern of a rowboat. He did add that he couldn't see well enough to be positive about what the creature was. However, when telling the story, he did not appear to think that a swimming Sasquatch was anything odd to see. He and others talked of seeing sets of tracks that would cross the sand at the head of Catassa Lake. They would enter the water and there would be no sign of any tracks showing them coming out of the water. At the mouth of the Nooksack River near Bellingham, Washington, many accounts were given of seeing Bigfoot in the river or in the sea. Chief Joe Washington said, "The river is their highway." In order to reach that area, many miles of farmland lay between the mountains and the river. Traveling on or in the river is a logical route for them to take. In the fall of 1967, there was a big run of sockeye salmon. There were more than a dozen reports made of seeing a Bigfoot there or of finding their tracks coming up out of the river. A woman was returning from the store one morning in September 1967. She saw a dark, hairy figure wading onto the shore from the sea. This was in broad daylight. Another story later that month told of a Bigfoot standing up suddenly beside a woman's boat while she was on the Nooksack River. They were in about 5 feet of water, and when the Bigfoot stood up, the water came only to the top of its legs. It took a step towards the woman. She spun her boat around and left at full power, ruining her fishing net. This also took place during the day. This last woman, along with her husband, had just seen a Bigfoot a few days before that, in the early afternoon. It had been standing in the river, water up to its knees. They watched as it bent down and slipped underwater. It did not come back into view. The next day, tracks were found at that point coming out of the water onto a sandbar. There is also the fisherman who was drifting down one of the channels of the river delta at night. His gill net was set across the current. Suddenly the back of the net seemed to catch onto something, causing it to trail back upstream behind the boat. The fisherman took a spotlight and aimed it back along the net. That was when he saw the Bigfoot standing in the water, gathering up the net. He shouted out, and several of the other fishermen who were waiting for their turn to drift that stretch of the river quickly turned their spotlights onto the same area. As the additional light hit the creature, it dropped the net and waded over to an island and vanished into the trees. A young girl sitting on the beach in front of her home early one morning was treated to the sight of a Bigfoot wading in the shallow water and then diving under and swimming, apparently trying to catch the fish in the sea. Native Americans have said that not only can Sasquatch swim a long way underwater, but they could do so at a very fast speed. It is said that when one passes, it makes a big swell in the river that will surge along the bank. It is similar to when a large salmon swims quickly down a small river. However, it is not near as impressive as a Sasquatch swimming swiftly down a river. There are also many stories of Bigfoot moving between the islands off the Canadian coast. It is accepted there that the Sasquatch can and do swim between the islands and the mainland. For more interesting content, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Also, be sure to visit our website at thecryptocrew.com.